It should not be about just one thing. It should be about a series of things. So I object to this being only about diabetes.
Okay. Senator Abbas.
I'll support the ought to pass. You know, I made a comment that I would like type 2 diabetes added to it, but I think if I really want that, I can file legislation to address that. You know, I think making it all expansive might be too much too soon. So I think let it stand on its own for now, and I'll support the ought to pass.
Yeah, this is not a policy. This is a sheet of paper that it will be available in the schools. The parents and the teachers can read about it. It's not something that they have to do. So it's not a policy, it's just making this information on type 1 diabetes, which is an acute situation, happens mostly in very young children. And I don't think that we should put every single conceivable possible disease, make that available as a medical information on the DOE website. I think that those kinds of things people can get through their family physicians, the healthcare centers, and certainly rubella and diphtheria. That's something that the parents usually learn when the kids are very early because they have to get the vaccinations. So to keep it clean, simple, is just to have on type 1 diabetes, nothing else in this bill. And again, it's not a policy, it's a piece of information available in the school and on the website with a link.
With respect, Madam Chair,
Yep.
I think that when we pass legislation that says that the Department of Education shall develop or identify existing informational materials on one particular disease, and they shall make them available to all the school districts by posting on the DOE's website, and that we require the school districts to also make that available on their website. I believe that that is indeed a policy change, not a program, a policy. So we are making it the policy of the Department of Education that they will focus on getting only information about type 1 diabetes, and this is no reflection on the importance of that information. I am speaking only to the change in policy of creating a Health and Human Services, what should be under the Department of Health and Human Services now becomes the responsibility of the DOE. And good for the diabetes lobbyists that they had the time and energy to be able to do this, and we didn't have people here to represent some of the diseases that are also on the rise here in the United States. So my objection is to lines 6 through 9, 10. That this is a policy that that the DOE must do this just for this one disease, and the school districts must do this just for this one disease. So
Thank you. Senator Abbas.
Madam Chair, I just want to point out with particularly type 1 diabetes, and this was kind of echoed by a lot of the testimony, that it's a condition that someone has, especially in children, but they have it for a while, but it kind of goes undetected, but they're showing some warning signs here or there. Other diseases, some of them are very acute. They kind of just come on sudden. And really with early detection, it was testimony from a number of different, now adults, but when they were children, that had it been detected earlier, how important that would have been. One of the people testified, I think his father or family member was a doctor, and how lucky he was to have that early detection for that reason. But even then, it got to the point where he had to go be rushed to a hospital. So I'm just saying, to put this, there's a particular reason why this type 1 diabetes was selected, to prevent that. So to bring some education, so those early warning signs could be known if they're not known by some of the school nursing staff and available on the school website. I don't think that I think adding every single disease, it's gonna just kind of overcrowd it. Doesn't mean that they're not important either. But if another illness met that same criteria where it's often underdetected, I think we can have that discussion. But right now, I think sticking to type 1 diabetes makes the most sense. And I think I support the ought to pass.
But the impetus for this bill was the fact that they now have a test that they can give to tell you whether or not you're likely to develop type 1 diabetes. Now, type 1 diabetes is totally different etiology from type 2 diabetes. And it happens, and the child can present with symptoms, and they can very quickly go into a diabetic coma. That is the reason. It can be a very acute situation, and that's one of the reasons that information could be available in the schools for the parents and the teachers, so if they see something like this, they can think, oh, I wonder if this child has type 1 diabetes. And then they can quickly send it, assess it, and send it to the doctor's office and get taken care of. And what I had heard was that a lot of older people who are classified as type 2 diabetes actually have type 1. And that was another thing that was quite interesting, because like I said before, type 1 and type 2, totally different etiologies. And I think it's very important to distinguish. And this was really to keep a kid from getting into really bad trouble by notifying the teachers, getting them understanding what the symptoms are of type 1 diabetes and do something about it. And the same thing for the parents. Senator Abbas, did you want to say something?
I was
Sullivan?
nodding my head,
Yeah,
agreeing with what you said.
First, I want to acknowledge the young men that came forward. They were so well spoken, and they presented themselves so well. We had an opportunity to speak with them after. And the situation is exactly what you described. It is such a sneaky disease, right? People wouldn't be looking for outward symptoms that you see in other things that just show themselves more blatantly. And it's some of the things that they said, like eating or being very thirsty and being sleepy. That's most teenage boys that I know. So to diagnose it would be difficult. So I think this is a great step to educate the people that spend time around children to be able to observe and acknowledge when type 1 diabetes might be an underlying factor.
Mm-hmm. Senator Prentice?
Thank you, Chair Ward. So I'm going to support this because I live by, I have this little motto of every ounce of prevention is worth a lifetime of cure. But I do think I want to appreciate what Senator Altschuler has brought up. And I believe, Senator Abbas, you affirmed in a way that, I think this provides us with a unique opportunity. We may not do this all the time, but here is a place where we're going to lean into an insidious disease that has the highest onset in juveniles. We're going to try to catch it there so that they can, because it's about managing a lifestyle. There may be some other opportunities that we're going to have to answer the same question and decide whether we're going to make the same type of decision. I also just would like to point out that, there are a number of, public health issues that we're facing today that, there's information that's out there, but the thing that's hard about it is it's not all in one place. You might be as a parent looking at the schools when maybe you should be over looking at Health and Human Services. I just think this puts us on a track. It shouldn't be used a lot, but when it is, it's focused at, again, every ounce of prevention is worth a lifetime of cure. So let's see what comes up next. I'll be right there.
And to Senator Prentice's point about prevention, with type 1 diabetes, by the time they're in that acute position, it could be lifelong damage to their organs or their sight or other things. So this really is catch it quick, and you could really save their quality of life.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Any further discussion?
No.
I have an OTP for the second. And are you ready to vote on it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, so it's 4-1. I'll take it out.
Can we move for consent or?
Yes. Move consent.
I'll second.
What did we use? A move out of executive session?
No,
No.
didn't we want, no, consent.
Oh, no, you can't put it on consent before one.
Oh.
No,
No,
it
I
doesn't.
thought we could.
No,
Yeah,
we
we
can
can.
still do a.
Yeah, we still
No,
can,
I
as
have,
long
I
as
have a
long as
meeting
we have the
at
votes.
12 that I need to be at, so
Okay.
Can we put on consent?
we can't put it on consent.
We can.
Okay, no,
No.
no.
Okay.
There's some other times they will. At least that's what we had in the Senate.
That's-
All right, I'll withdraw my
Okay.
motion. Let's,
All right.
we'll roll and,
Okay, I'll double check on that.
yeah, I think Claire, that'd be great.
Okay,
Move out of executive session.
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are out of executive session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all for coming. This is the wrong one. That's yours. Yeah, yeah.